Hey everybody, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today we're diving into a foundational guitar exercise that's designed to improve your finger independence and get you comfortable all over the fretboard. This all began when one of my students emailed me a question. They're working on exercises like, those repetitive finger exercise kind of things all around the fretboard. And they're straightforward exercises, but I had a lot of ways to kind of improve it, to make it more effective and make it more beneficial. Real quick before we get started, if you enjoy learning guitar with me, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I also have a bunch of awesome resources. I'll put some links in the description down below, some awesome free resources to help you out. Anyways, the exercise itself is very simple. I can teach it to you in a matter of seconds. You place your index finger on the first fret, your middle finger on the second fret, and you just do that on every string, going all the way up. And if that's too much, maybe these frets are too wide, too far away, you can try it at like the 7th fret, somewhere closer to your body. It's gonna feel a little more comfortable. But all in all, that's it, just index, middle, all the way up. And then you can do middle and ring all the way up. And then your ring and pinky all the way up. And as far as like memorizing that exercise, you probably already have it memorized. But the key is in how you approach it. First thing first, you want to start slow and you want to start in a comfortable spot, which we already mentioned. Let's pick the 5th fret, for instance. And as you're doing it, you want to pay attention to what your other fingers are doing. If they're hanging way out here, that actually introduces tension in your hand. So you want them to be curled. They're not touching the string. That's touching the string. They're kind of lifted off a little bit as I play my way through this, but they're not hanging way out there. You also want to play gently. I've had students tell me, like, I just can't get my guitar to stop buzzing. It's making this buzzing sound. And they pick a bit more gently, and all of a sudden it sounds beautiful. Another thing is you don't want to rush it. And the best way to do that is just get out your metronome and just play with the click. If that's too fast, slow it down. Find the spot that works for you. And as you move on to your middle and ring finger, one thing that I just want to point out is that some people will hang out their index finger like that. And that's not a great habit. You want your index finger to stay curled. It could even be touching the strings. The advantage to that is if you get one of those other strings, it'll mute it instead of letting it ring out loud, right? And when you're doing your ring and pinky, leave your index and middle down. Just let them rest and kind of just slide across the strings. Notice I'm not leaving them down way up here as I do this. That's kind of weird. They're not fretting the notes, but they're in a fretting position and they follow the whole thing as I climb up. And I'll be honest, this is a super simple and sometimes super boring exercise, but I like to think of it like the guitar equivalent of meditation. It's such a simple exercise. You can literally just turn your brain off and work through it, maybe even like watching TV, It's like getting better at guitar for free. And the cool thing, it's a very adaptable exercise. I want to show you how to modify it so that it will help you build the muscle memory for the things that you want to do on guitar, like solo, using scales and all that kind of stuff, playing melodies. So let's work through some common, useful finger combinations. I'm at the 5th fret with my index, and then I'm going to put my ring finger down on the 7th fret. And you're going to have to get your hand, like a lot of people will have their hand like this and say, how come my ring finger's not reaching? Get your hand more like this. Pull your elbow in, get your thumb a little bit lower, and you can just do that. Index, ring, 5-7 on every string. You watch guitar players like Clapton, Slash, they play the entire pentatonic scale with just those 2 fingers, right? And another thing, as far as, getting the most out of this, is you also got to learn how to go backwards with these. So if you're going index, ring, by the time you get to the top, you can go ring, index. And when you do that, when you put down your ring finger, changing to a new string, also put your index where it needs to be. So I'm going to change strings. I put them both down. I'm going to change strings. I put them both down. And you want to take tons of time to really iron out all these details that I'm talking about, making sure that your fingers aren't sticking way out, making sure they stay close to the fretboard, making sure that you're playing with a metronome in time, placing your fingers ahead of time, and all that kind of stuff. That's what's going to make you sound good. That's the difference between somebody who just sounds kind of sloppy because their fingers aren't where they need to be kind of ahead of time. That's what we're doing. We're preparing that. Anyways, index ring is a great combination. Middle pinky, that's another one. You'll run across that one in the major pentatonic scale. It's the same thing, right? You play it all the way up, just middle pinky. The advantage to doing this instead of playing scales is that we can just do the same pattern over and over again and really work those fingers. Go backwards, pinky, middle, and notice my index is kind of muting all the strings like in a straight line. That's from my muscle memory related to playing. And so by doing this, you're building towards doing that kind of stuff too, right? Like all your technique ties together. A lot of people have this misconception that like for this style you use only these techniques and this style you use only these techniques. The Venn diagram of techniques is basically a circle with like a couple little things on the outside depending on your style. Like flamenco has like probably the most different stuff in it, but still uses a lot of the same stuff that soul or rock would use. Now, one other variable that you must consider is doing this in different places on the fretboard, doing it really high up where the frets are really small. That feels totally different than doing it really low. When you do it really low, it's like, well, you're reaching further away from your body. Maybe it teaches you to put the guitar neck up a little bit more, right? Like, rather than just learning about posture and then moving on from it, you're learning about posture through this exercise, right? By getting this exercise right, by making it feel good, you're going to force yourself to get that good posture. Now, when you add it all up, that's a ton of variables, like infinite. All the different finger combinations, all the different places you can play it on the fretboard, all the different things you can focus on when it comes to technique, like keeping your fingers close to the frets, etc. And some people like to make, spreadsheets or checklists and go through it all that way. But the ones that I shared with you today are the ones that you're going to find in the most common guitar scales. Ultimately, our goal is to strengthen the connection between your brain and your fingers. Think of it like turning a dirt road into a paved highway. Right now, your brain is sending signals to your fingers, but those signals, they could be traveling much faster and much smoother. And that's what this exercise helps to achieve. It may feel repetitive, but the benefits are enormous. You'll be setting yourself up for success with scales, riffs, melodies, solos, and all that stuff. Even your chord shapes are going to improve. If you have any questions or want more tips, just drop a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more lessons. Have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.